Hi there, friends. It looks like I'm live, but there's always a bit of a delay. So I like to just make sure all looks good. I see it popped up on my phone, hasn't popped up on my computer yet. So it seems like one or the other typically wins. There we go. It is up on my computer now as well. All right. Hello, friends. Welcome to our next YouTube Live. Realized I kind of made a mess of my desk over here while I was prepping and didn't really get it very ready. Okay. Well, I hope that you guys have had a good week so far. We are going to be doing some hot foiling today. So I'm excited to do that. We're going to be using brand new products. So we had our November release went live yesterday. It's full of really good things. If you haven't checked out, there's a whole lot of release festivities going on currently. So if you haven't checked out all of that stuff, be sure to do so. There is, if you check out the intro video here on our YouTube channel, there's a grand prize giveaway of the entire release on that video. So be sure to check that out. There's also a blog hop going on that started yesterday. You can start at the Pinkfresh Studio blog. There's a grand prize giveaway on our blog post. And then if you hop along to all the rest of the posts, there are 10 chances to win a $25 gift card code. Finally, today we had our Instagram hop go live. So on our Instagram feed, there's a grand prize giveaway as well. So 3 chances to win the entire release. It is worth checking out all of our release festivities. So grand prize giveaway on our Instagram post. And then if you hop along the Instagram hop, there are 10 more chances to win a $25 gift card code. Plus tons of inspiration using this new release. So if you have already purchased your items or you're still kind of figuring out what it is that you want, tons of inspiration to be seen to give you some ideas for what might work best for you. So 3 chances to win a grand prize giveaway and 20 chances to win a $25 gift card code. All that's entailed in all of the places is leaving a comment. We give commenting prompts. You can, as you hop along to the blog posts and the Instagram posts from our team and guests, you can just comment on what they've created. So anyway, we do give all of the instructions needed in all of the posts. So definitely be sure to check that out. Today, I'm going to be using the brand new Dreamy Floral product suite. And we're going to sneak in the Quadrant Backdrop product suite as well. So we got a bit to do. Heather's got something she's got to get to. So we are going to flip this around shortly. We're going to do the real quick overview of live stuff. So we would love for you to give the video a thumbs up. That helps the videos reach both now and on replay. And then also we give away a $15 gift card code at the end of the live, another chance to win. All you have to do is what you're currently doing. Just chat in our live chat. You can ask questions, answer questions, just be chatty in general. I don't see as much once I flip this camera around, but I will do my best to catch what I can. Heather is moderating behind the Pinkfresh Studio name. So she catches most of what I don't miss, or most of what I do miss, not what I don't miss. And then finally, if you would share this, underneath the video, there's an arrow button. It says share next to it. You can share it to your Facebook page. You can share it if you have an email or a message chain with crafty friends. You can also share it in a crafty Facebook group, but just make sure that their rules allow that. There are some that don't, so be aware of that. Now we are going to flip this around and we are going to get going. My hot foil machine is heated up and we are ready to go. Okay. Oops, sorry, I tapped the wrong button. Okay, let's turn that off. Okay. So someone's asking me if I'm cold. No, I'm not cold. I'm hot foiling currently. And I was testing out my hot foil plate a little bit because I noticed the other day I was getting a little bit of fuzzy results when I was solid foiling. So I was doing a little bit of troubleshooting. And so no, I don't really, I get hot when I'm hot foiling. So it is cold here. It's, cold and wintry, but because I'm hot foiling, I tend to get a little bit warm. Okay, so I've already turned my machine on. I've let it heat up. The platform is ready. So I just need to let this heat up. While we're letting that heat up, this is some of the product I'm going to use today. This is our Dreamy Florals set. Looks like I maybe adjusted my, it'll be okay. Anyway, so there's a stamp set, stencil set, a die set, and hot foil plate. We are going to focus on the hot foil plate today. And we're just waiting for it to heat up. While it finishes heating up, I do need to trim down a little bit of foil. And I think what I'm noticing is I have a little bit, I raised my camera so that you guys could see a little bit more. And I think I forgot to adjust my focus on it. So when we get closer to doing the ink blending, I think I might have to bring it back down so that things will be a little bit more in focus. Hopefully it is good enough for now for this, but I am noticing that that's a little off for me. Oh, thank you, friends, for that nice comment about the video I did as a guest on Jennifer's site the other day. All right, this is Prism hot foil or a Prism foil. It is an iridescent silver. We're doing lots of cool tones in today's card. So I've decided that Prism is kind of the best option for that. So our plate is heated up. I'm just grabbing all of the things I need to get going before I pull my platform off here. All right. Even though I raised my desk surface up, I still don't have all that much room. I just was trying to let you guys see as much more as possible. But okay, the way that I like to foil, my machine, the platform is hard to pull out from the base. So I like to pull it out first before I do any of the sandwiching. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm removing it from the base. Then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put the foil pretty side down over top of those flowers. And then I'm going to add my cardstock. This is 100-pound Hammermill white cardstock. It's their smooth white. I know it's a little hard to find. So you kind of have to search for it. And honestly, you can also just try to use whatever smooth white cardstock you might have in your craft studio. So I see we are already getting a little bit of trolley stuff going on, but Heather will have that handled. I think they don't understand that this is not the correct target market, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's take a look and see how my results are. And that is just perfection. Look at how beautiful that is. I don't think I might have got just like a tiny little bit of overfoiling here and there, but not enough to bother me. Okay, I'm going to set aside that piece real quick. We are going to grab the Dreamy Florals hot foil plate. We're going to take that off. Now let's go ahead and grab, this is the Quadrant Backdrop. Let's go ahead and grab it and get it heating up real quick as well. This one I'm going to do in the lavender foil. Now, sometimes colored foils can be a little finicky for me, but we're just going to go for it. And if I'm being completely honest, if I totally botch the colored foil, I did do a test run and it turned out pretty good. So I will use my test run if need be. But here's hoping that the lavender just turns out for me. All right, so I have my lavender foil all trimmed down. We're not going to do anything much different than what we just did, but I thought that the quadrant backdrop would look really pretty in the back of these florals. I'm not going to ink blend it. I'm going to ink blend the florals today. So we'll leave this just as a nice geometric background. And as you can see, I can already touch this hot foil plate. So I'm going to go ahead and put it away just to kind of clean as I go here. And that's the great thing about taking your hot foil plate off of the machine and adding it to your glass mat. It disperses that heat really, really nice. Okay, one more time. Let's go ahead and remove the platform from the base. I'm going to kind of just scooch that down there with my fingernails. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put the foil pretty side down. And then we are going to add our cardstock. This is the same cardstock as before. And then we're going to add the spacer pad and the shim that comes with the hot foil system. Get my hair off of there. And once again, we're going to just run it through our die cut machine. I only run the standard foiling through my die cut machines once. I don't really feel the need to run them back and forth. And I also feel like that prevents some haloing. So I'm going to go ahead, get that off of my foil system, and let's go ahead and get the solid plate on there and get it going, because I do need the solid plate to heat up a couple of times. But while it's getting ready, let's take a look and see how my lavender foiling worked out. It worked out great. I actually think I got better results on this one than I did on my test. So we may actually go ahead and work on die cutting this while we're waiting for the solid plate to heat up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, because I'm not going to ink blend this image. I am going to go ahead. There's a little extra tape on there that I would like to get off here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up and run it through my die cut machine. Okay, so platform is ready. I'm going to go ahead and get my solid plate heated up for the first time. I run this cycle twice, so we may just have to chat a bit while I wait for the solid plate to fully heat up, but we'll do the die cutting. So Bo asked me about a shim on top. When I'm standard foiling, I actually don't need any paper shim at all. I'm just using the two that came with the machine. Now, I did notice the other day that I started getting not the best results with my solid plate again, which tells me some things that maybe the pressure in my die cut machine is has just worn out a little bit. Maybe my foil system is not getting as hot as it once did. I use these products almost commercially, so it's not surprising to me that I have to replace them more often than probably your average crafter would need to replace them. So, but after doing some troubleshooting, I did notice the other day that I did need to start adding a paper shim back into my sandwich for the solid plate. So you'll see me do that here shortly. All right, you'll notice I removed the platform from the base and started the process over again. I just find that I need this to go through twice. So it's now heating up for a second time and we should be good to go. But while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine, which is just a little bit off camera. I totally used the wrong. Wow. I got lucky on that one, friends. I grabbed my hot foil shims and ran them through as my top plate, but thankfully I think everything cut out. Oh, my brain sometimes right now. If it didn't cut out well, I'll just use the piece I had already done, but I think it cut out just fine. My die wasn't upside down. Maybe I had the whole thing upside down, but my die lined up just fine. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna get new pieces of tape because those are kind of gross. You guys, my die was not upside down. It cut out just fine. So I'm not really sure what your, anyway, whatever, it's fine. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I did do it wrong. I don't know, I have my spare. Okay, I'm gonna give this a good whack, get all those extra pieces out. Oh, got some ones that are being a tad stubborn. All right, I'll have to grab this guy here and get them popped out. All right, I think I got them all that time. Okay, so that is done. And our solid plate is nice and heated up. So let's go ahead and grab our die cut machine again. Get this off because it is cooled off enough to put away. And I'm just making sure I have everything that I need in the place that I need it before I pull the machine off. Now, you'll notice I am now adding a paper shim into my plate pack here. So like I mentioned earlier, I noticed that my solid foil plate was not, I wasn't getting as good results as I normally do. So something is a little off here in my system now. Possibly I lost a little bit of pressure in my die cut machine. Possibly my hot foil system isn't heating up as hot as it once did. So both possible options, not super easy to troubleshoot other than just, I would have to get a new hot foil system to see if that was it. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the platform from the base. Let's go ahead and grab our flowers, and we're just going to make sure that they are well within the solid plate there. We are going to put our cardstock over top, and then our sandwich that includes the paper shim in it now. And then, unlike when I'm standard foiling, I do like to run my solid foil plate through my system forwards and backwards. And let's see how our results are this time around. Grab this guy here. And I am just going to sneak a little peek up here in the corner and see, maybe, see how it went. Oh, good. I got good results there. And I am pleased with how those turned out. All right, let's let our solid plate heat back up. I'm going to leave these for now. I might die cut them later, but I'm not completely sure how or if I'm going to use them today. I just wanted to do the solid foiling to have it done. But I am loving how those turned out. So we'll just go ahead and set them aside for now, along with other flowers. So we'll wait for this guy to heat up. We will do the solid foiling for the quadrant backdrop, and then we will switch our desk out and we will start doing some ink blending on those flowers. I'm going to catch up on some comments here while I let this heat up. I know that I probably missed a whole lot, and I'm sure Heather took care of it. It's hard to watch comments when you're foiling because there's a lot to think about and a lot of processes to go through. So hi Dee, thanks for joining us today. Okay, so timer is up. So that tells me the solid plate is hot enough. I feel like there's some grossness up here. Hopefully that doesn't affect my solid foiling here. But let's go ahead and remove the platform from the base. And sometimes I am super terrible about lining these up and making sure they're like fully on the solid plate. So I'm going to do my best. You know, if it goes a little bit off to the side, I'm not going to worry about it. I have a backup. All right, let's go ahead and add our paper. And let's add our sandwich with the paper ship. And then I'm going to run this one through back and forth as well. And we'll see if I got it all on the solid plate or not. It's always hit or miss with me. You just never know. Go ahead and put those away. I am going to, actually I'm going to test this. You know what, guys, I did a pretty good job of getting the entire image on the background there. So let's see how my foiling. This one ended up being a little fuzzy. So I might not have let the solid plate heat up well enough. It's not awful. It is perfectly usable. I'll probably end up using my previous one on that. So I may have needed to just let my solid plate heat up a little bit more, which tells me it's possible I need to replace my hot foil system again. But I'm going to troubleshoot a little bit more to see, because I got really good results with my the test job that I did. So we'll see. I have to do a little bit more troubleshooting. For now, I am going to turn this guy off and put it away. We'll let the solid plate cool down on the actual system itself, and we can move on. Alrighty, so let's see. Now, my coloring looks a little interesting here. Sorry if this kind of jostles a little bit, guys, but I'm going to, now that the foiling is done, I'm going to lower my camera angle here, and this might help a little bit with the weird coloring I feel like I'm seeing. It might just also be that it's starting to get dark out already. Okay. I am going to go ahead and get this guy taped down to my glass mat here. Okay. Oh, I feel like my glass mat is kind of dirty and I didn't think to clean it. You know, and the results on the solid foiling were definitely not terrible. Ah, there we go. I feel like that fixed my white balance a little bit. Maybe it was just a little off from all the foil plates being in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab the stencils. So these are the Dreamy Floral stencils. This is what the image looks like when all is said and done. These are in pinks and the light greens. I am sticking to some cooler colors here. I'm actually going to ink blend the flowers in purple, which I don't use purple very often, but I thought that they would be really nice for this time of year. Now, I should mention, I don't have these stencils in numbered order. So the order I have them in is stencil 1, stencil 3, stencil 5, and then stencil 2 and stencil 4. I like to stencil the flowers all together and the greenery all together. So I typically, when I get my stencils first, I look through them and I arrange them in the order that makes sense for my brain. So you don't have to keep the stencils in the order that we have manufactured them. You are absolutely free to switch the order up and change it in a way that suits you best. So that is, I think that's a real personal preference. So I like to let you guys know when I'm doing them in different order. Sometimes I do forget to tell you, but I do like to let you know when I'm doing them in different order. Just so especially if you're crafting along with me, once you have these, you might be like, Leah, what are you doing? That is not the right stencil. So I do like to share that. Okay, so the foiling resists the ink. I will wipe it down each time after we're done ink blending, but we're gonna start with soft lilac. And we're just gonna ink blend in these flowers nice and soft. I always like to do the first layer a little softer, just allows for a little bit more ink, building up of the ink colors as you go along. All right, it looks like we've got confirmation on ink refills. Looks like they're going to be, fingers crossed, in about 8 to 10 days. So if you've been looking for refills for your inks, they're on their way. Your best bet is to sign up for a restock notification. You don't have to do all of the colors. My assumption is we have an entire order coming of all of the colors. So you can just sign up for one color and then you'll be aware that all of them are coming in. Okay. You will get an email directly from our website once we restock. All right, so there is the first stencil layer. This is stencil 1. And we've got just the start of our flowers. So let's move on. We're moving on to stencil number 3. Now this is flower details, but it's also filling in this flower fully down here in that bigger cluster that's at the bottom. So what I have found is if you get that flower that we haven't colored nice and lined up, all of the rest of the details just fall into place. You don't really have to worry about lining them up. Okay, so we are going to move on up to Candy Violet. I am going to just do a quick clean of my brush because if I used Regal Kiss last, I want to make sure that I clean it off. All right, so ink up some Candy Violet here. I'm going to start down in this flower that hasn't been inked up yet. I'm inking a little bit deeper at the base and then just softening my blend as I work out, just trying to add a little bit more depth and dimension to that flower. These guys, this one, it's more just about getting some color into all of those details. I'm not too worried about where it's coming from. It's just about getting some color in there. And then finally, let's get these guys up here. These stencils go pretty quickly because they're just details. So they're not, you're not covering as much territory. Okay, and I feel good about that, but let's pick up a little bit leftover ink and not waste it. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe this down. I'm just wiping the stencil down with a dry lint-free cloth currently. After I end the live, I'll clean each stencil a little bit more extensively with just a few spritzes of isopropyl alcohol, and then I'll wipe them down with the same cloth, and then they're dry and they are ready to be used again. So there is layer number 2 with the Candy Violet. Okay, so we're moving on to stencil number 5. And this is flower middles, mostly. So I'm going to alternate a couple of these. I am also going to use our new small brushes. So these were in our holiday Create and Connect event kits, and we will be releasing them in the future. I don't have an exact date, but I was given the go ahead to start sharing them. So I'm going to start with Regal Kiss. And for Regal Kiss, I am just going to ink blend in these 2 centers right here. I don't really want those ones to be yellow. So I am going to focus them in with our darkest shade of purple. And that is where these small brushes come in super handy. They are great for these little details. Make it so you don't have to mask as often. You can get a little bit more precision if you're wanting to do some shading or anything like that. So they're really, really, really nice for this option. All right, I'm just going to very carefully buff those a little bit clean. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab Marigold. This is our darkest shade of yellow. So I'm going to grab my yellow brush for this. And I am going to want to do these quite heavy because I'm also on these flowers up here wanting that yellow to mask that little bit of purple that's in there. And it may not be like the perfect shade of yellow because I've got a color underneath it that's not exactly complementary. But I think I can get it deep enough in there that it won't look like it's muddy. All right, I am feeling pretty good about that. Yes, Mindy, they do come with a little box. And hold on, let me just show you something really cool about the little boxes because I have them currently pulled out. They're very similar to our stamp press tool box. So let me, because I think for now, I am done with the stencils. So let me just show you how fun the little boxes are. Isn't that so fun? You've got like a little storage space already for them. It's super, super fun. So definitely love how our small brushes turned out. Okay, let's take a look at our flowers. They're done. I love the little yellow middles, but I'm glad I didn't do yellow in the center of those 2 flowers. Someone is saying they need them just for the box. Totally get that. There's something about adults and Heather shared it with me about like a whole part of life is contemplating if you're going to throw away a box because it's like a really good box. So when we'll be moving next year at some point. So I save every single box that's worthy of packing things in currently. So our whole attic is covered in boxes. All right, we are moving on to stencil number 2. And so obviously we're backtracking a little bit. And I am going to ink blend stencil number 2 in Mermaid Cove. So I need to grab my brush here, and I think it's possible I used Tidal Pond last, so I'm going to just do a little bit of cleaning on that. yeah. I think both of our husbands don't love that we hoard packing boxes. Josh just kind of looks at me sometimes like, okay, girl. But he loves me. And he married me in all my ways. So it is what it is. And he will thank me when we're not having to pay for boxes to pack all of our belongings. Okay. Yes, I think somebody asked me where I'm moving. We are currently building a home in Montana. We are moving back. Montana is where I'm from. It's where all my family is and where Josh and I met and where we spent the first 10 years of our marriage. So we left for career advancement. And we did that. And so now we are excited to be going home because both of our jobs can be done remotely now. So we're very, very excited to be moving back home to Montana. All right, I am just ink blending all of these leaves in with Mermaid Cove. You know me, I love aqua greenery. If aqua greenery is not your thing, totally get it. Just substitute these colors out for green if you're wanting to recreate this card when you get your Dreamy Florals product, or if you're part of our scrapbooking event. You do already have the Dreamy Floral stamp, stencil, and die, but if you want to add the hot foil plate to your edition, that is available this week. Oh, thanks, Dee. Deb, I don't know the exact date, but we are on track for early next year for our new colors. So, of course, anything can happen this day and age, but here is fingers crossed that it's early next year. All right, so there is that stencil reveal. One final stencil. This is technically stencil number 4. And these are just greenery details. So really the main part of this one is just making sure all of those details are within the leaf so that you don't accidentally cut them off. I do kind of line them up though with the little lines that are in the center of the leaves. Not everyone lines up perfectly that way, but I've noticed if you get them close enough, your greenery, or excuse me, your greenery detail is within the leaf. So it's not going to be out of lines or anything. And finally, we are going to use Tidal Pond for this one. And actually, I think I am going to break out one of my small guys again, because I feel like this will give me a little bit more control for getting these detailed layers blended in. Thank you, guys. We are moving back to a small town. If you probably never heard of it, we're moving to a small town called Anaconda, Montana. It's near Butte, Montana, and it's 20 miles away from our favorite lake, Georgetown Lake. So we're very, very excited. It's where my mom lives as well. So it will be nice to be near her. And then a lot of my family lives just 30 minutes away in Butte. I'm from Missoula, which is about an hour and a half, maybe a little less than that away. So we can go home for Chris games and just bigger shopping areas, I guess. Anaconda is very small, so we have limited shopping places. And then my family, the rest of my family lives about 45 minutes north of Missoula. So we're kind of centrally locating ourselves to everyone so that it's not too much of a trek to get to anyone. Okay, so that was our final stencil. So I'm just gonna do a little cleanup here real quick, and then we will check out the final reveal on our stencil. So let's take a look at this and look at how pretty that is with the prism foiling. I just love that. Okay, my tape removed here. Like I mentioned, I will clean my stencils more extensively after I end this live stream. So I'm just going to put them aside for now. And let's go ahead and do some die cutting. Let me grab the correct plates here. And the dies. So, whoopsies. Milking things on the floor over here. So this die is a one-piece die set. There's also a die for one of the sentiments in the stamp set. But we've got this nice one-piece die. Let me get some tape ready. That will cut out all of the flowers at once. Just take a little bit of extra time to get it nice and lined up. And then go ahead and get it taped down. These are bigger dies, so it's always good to tape them down pretty well. I feel like that's pretty good for that one. So I'm going to go ahead and run it through my machine. I must have missed something. Oh, looks like Peggy Williams is from Anaconda. Peggy, I am not from Anaconda, so the only family I have is my mom who moved there just recently. So more of my family is in the Butte area and then up in the Flathead Lake area. Okay, let's get this set aside here. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and also cut out the solid flowers as well. I'm not for sure if I'm gonna even use them, but it will be handy to have them just in case I want to tuck one in here or there. Not really sure if I will, but at least they'll be cut and ready to use on a different project if I don't want to use them today. Now, I try to be good about not getting tape over any of the inner foiling because it can pull the image up a little bit. So I try to be kind of ginger about where I put the tape on the solid foil pieces. Deb, we do actually have a sale going all weekend, and all will be revealed at midnight on Thursday, actually. So our sale will run from Thanksgiving through Sunday. And then there will be a different sale the week after. So that's all I can share, but check your emails either at midnight on Thursday or when you wake up. Okay. Let's see here. We have got that all finished. So I do still need to heat emboss the secondary sentiment, but I need to actually kind of take a peek at what I want to do. A little bit of assembly. So we're going to do a little bit of solid foiling underneath, and then I'm going to trim this down and it's going to go on top. But I want to put these in here a little bit. This is not a direct placement, so don't quote me on this. This is just me getting an idea. So I have these two sentiments pre-foiled, the Beautiful and the Friend. And I know that I want to do this You Will Do Big Things that has the coordinating die. So I'm just going to kind of use this as a placement guide and try to decide. I was really loving the Beautiful. I know it's the same color as the foiling that I did on the flowers, but I thought that you could kind of interpret this two different ways. You could use it as the You Will Do Big Things beautiful, as in like if you're talking to like a friend or someone, and my husband actually calls me beautiful. It's really sweet. Or you could also interpret it as You Will Do Big, Beautiful Things. So, and I kind of like that the sentiment is a little bit longer. So I'm feeling like I'm leaning towards beautiful, although the Friend is really nice and it does complement the greenery. But I think I'm leaning towards that beautiful sentiment. That is from our phrase builder Hello set that we previously released. I just had these pre-foiled and I thought they would be a good decision. Anything that's in our new section is excluded from our sales. So unfortunately, those will not be part of the sale that we have going on this weekend. But anything that's not in our new section, you are free or will be on our sale, including inks. All right, I am just trying to decide what color of cardstock I want to heat emboss these on, because I'm going to heat emboss it in white. So I'm trying to decide if I want, there's so much purple. I think I'm not going to do purple. I'm going to do one of these shades of aqua. And I think I'm leaning towards this because it goes with the Tidal pond really well. So I just need to trim it down a little bit because it's a little too big for my mini Misty. So give me 1 second while I do that. And this little piece right here is probably large enough. Yeah, okay. And I am going to actually, I can do it this way, like this. That should be plenty of room. left for it. So I'm just going to grab my anti-static powder tool and prep it real quick so that the embossing powder will only stick right where I want it. And then we are just going to gently ink this up. I like to press lightly when I'm doing sentiments, no matter what I'm using, whether I'm using regular ink or embossing ink, so that I keep the integrity. Our sentiments are tiny and dainty, and I really like keeping the integrity of those sentiments in place. Okay, here is that guy. And grab my white embossing powder here. You know, and I think in my supply list, I forgot to link up the foils. So I'll make sure to update my supply list because I forgot to add the foils, and you can get the foils in our shop as well. So I will link those up after the live is over. All right. So sometimes Zoom mutes me and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm sorry if you have to listen to me heat emboss, but I'm going to go ahead and heat set this. So let's go ahead and grab the dies. There they are. Kind of misplaced them for a second. Go ahead and grab the coordinating die for this sentiment. And let's cut it out. Okay, just getting it nice and lined up here. I'm not sure if the glimmer system works with the Sizzix switch or not. That's a good question for spellbinders. Or maybe someone in the group can answer it if they have a switch. Okay, go ahead and run this through real quick. Right, and I just love how these look when they're cut out. How fun is that? I am going to cut a couple more real quick, just so I can stack this guy up. One piece of tape for that. If I have room, I might cut it just one more time. I do, and then I use up this little piece of scrap cardstock, and I don't feel like I have to keep it. I don't know if anybody else does that. I'm frugal, and I don't like to waste things. So if I can stack something up with some leftover cardstock, I will certainly do that. And now I don't feel bad about tossing that rest of that cardstock. Okay. All right. We've got all of these things here. About time to get going on assembling this card. I have 10 minutes and Heather has to go. So here's hoping I don't get too terribly fussy. And, oh, of course. So y'all, this thing never clogs unless I'm live. I always feel like it's the curse of live that something has to go wrong. But hopefully it won't take too long. Okay, perfect. There we go. Just was a little clogged up. Maybe I'm trying to keep it away from the window because I noticed last year when it was cold that the colder temperature did affect it a little bit more. than it does like if, spring through fall. So, but I am trying to keep it away from the window in hopes that it won't be as bad this time around. Oh, okay, perfect. I did not see that before. So good to know. You shouldn't have told me that, Heather, because now I am going to be fussy and we'll go over. So I'm going to still do my best to close this up, land this ship, land this plane. I don't know the right terminology for that saying. Dock this ship? Whatever. I'm going to try to end at 4. Okay, so there we go. All right, so I did mention that I want to trim this down a little bit. I want just a little bit of that solid foiling to peek out from underneath the white version. So I'm going to use my handy dandy little trimmer that has the wire guide on it to get a nice straight cut on this guy. Okay, and I want to make sure I get it right along the foiling. And I may have to do just a little bit of scissor trimming with that little guy. Then I'll set this aside and I will 100% use it on a different card. Okay, let me grab my scissors here because I'm going to just trim that little piece that's hanging off of it. Okay. Oh boy, Heather. Heather just sent me a little note, but we're going to keep that between us. Okay. So for this solid foiling, now this is a top folding card, but I'm like severely lacking purple cardstock right now. So I think I need to do a little bit of shopping. So I'm going to just do a side folding landscape card for this one. So I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the back of this. And it is just going to stick fully down to my card here. All right, we'll stick it right down. I actually have to remember, give me a second. I have to make sure I'm picking the right pieces here. I think I need to put it this way. Yes, I do. I'm glad I saw that. Gracious, Leah. My card would have been upside down. It would have been a hot mess. All right, let's get that lined up. Liquid glue is your best friend when you're trying to line up pieces like this. All right, this one we are going to pop it up with some foam. All right, I have these, and don't ask me what brand they are because I don't know. I think I got them. They were like a sample that got sent to the Pinkfresh studio office, but they're kind of a perfect size for this. So I'm just going to use them. So sorry, these are just kind of big foam circles. I'm sure you can find them in lots of brands, but they're just kind of perfect sized for getting this little section popped up here. Right. Just kind of trying to put foam in the sections that there's enough room for them. Not really, not super worried about. Of course, this one is being stubborn, getting the release paper off. I'm gonna toss that away. I have a whole thing of it here. I don't have to fuss with ones that are not cooperating. Well, thanks, guys. Purple is not my favorite color, actually. It's probably one of my least favorite colors, but I like Pinkfresh purples, to be honest. I do really like Pinkfresh purples. There. Maybe that's the trick. And so I don't use them like constantly, but I definitely don't mind using Pinkfresh purples by any means. All right, so we are gonna pop this guy up here. Sorry, I might have to kind of get my hair in here a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. All right, but I like how that pops up, has a little bit of dimension. There's a little bit of solid underneath it. And we are going to go ahead and do a little bit of flower fluffing here. And this guy's going to kind of go up in this corner. I think this guy's going to maybe go down in this lower corner. But I know that I want these to kind of hang in here. So I am going to put a little bit of foam tape just on the bottom of the word beautiful. So we're going to focus here on the F and then maybe just running it just alongside this very bottom here. Okay. And let's just see how that looks. All right. It's kind of perfect. All right, I need to glue this guy into place for sure. Shoot, I should have put the pin in. Of course, this is happening. Let's see here. Ugh. My glue is being very stubborn, friends. Hold on. I swear to you, this never happens. Like never. Okay, let me see if there's just something that got dry in there. I can't get it to run through the other side, but it goes through this side fine. All right, we'll see here. I may need to do a little cleaning, I think. I know, right? Me too. There we go. It's at least working a little bit. I think I just got the little piece out because it just kind of squirt all over that flower. Okay. Nothing like having to do a little bit of maintenance. Let's tuck that under there. Right smack in the middle of a live. That's always fun, isn't it? Okay. Oh, at least it happens to everyone and not just me. Dee said it happened to her last week, so I'm in good company. So that at least makes me feel a little bit better. Okay. All right. Feeling good about this placement. So the reason why I only put a little bit of tape at the bottom is because I knew this was going to kind of overlap with that top layer, and I did not want to have foam. I kind of wanted it only to pop up from that bottom portion with the purple. All right, and then finally, we are going to put this first little sentiment. Actually, I think I kind of like it up here. And I can just glue it because I added a couple layers of cardstock. I feel good with the amount of dimension it has. I actually really like it. Tucked in this little spot up here. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you're liking this. Okay, So I didn't use the solid pieces. I'm trying to decide if I want to add these little flowers anywhere. I do kind of like them right there, actually. So let me fluff them up. Okay. Oh, and my hair stuck to that, so that's fun. All right, let's kind of tuck these guys in here. Okay. And there we have it, friends. I'm going to hold off on deciding about jewels. One, I forgot to check what is and is not in stock. And I am not completely sure that I want to add jewels to this. So I'm going to contemplate that a little bit and make my decision after the live is over. But so be on the lookout for photos and you can see if I add any jewels to it anywhere. All right, let's go ahead and get this flipped around back to me. Okay. And we will say our goodbyes. Ooh, purple glitter drops could be really pretty. I'll have to look at those, Heather. I'm not sure. It already has so much on it. I'm just a little unsure. So we'll see. I'm going to contemplate before. So whenever I get a photo uploaded onto this, check back and you will see what I decided to do. All right. Well, we have a winner. Congratulations to Mary Kim Rosati. You have won today's $15 gift card code. Congratulations. All you have to do to claim your prize is email me. My email is leah@pinkfreshstudio.com. There's no H on the end of my name, so it's just LEA. And please give me 2 to 3 business days to reply back with your gift card code. So congratulations. This will be available for replay right after, or at least soon, really soon after I end the live. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the live chat to load. It's weird. Sometimes it's available immediately and sometimes it's not, but that is everything that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my very shiny foiled card today in purples and aquas. And other than that, I enjoyed getting to spend the last hour for you. I'm going to let Heather go so she can get to her appointment. But oh yes, this is our only live this week because here in America, it is a holiday week. So Thanksgiving is on Thursday. So if you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. If you don't, have a great rest of your week and enjoy all of the savings that this holiday weekend brings about. All right, friends, have a great rest of your week and we'll see you next week. Bye.